on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive, letting you guys know that there is a brand new Pokemon Sun and Moon announcement that just went down. If you guys are hyped, show some love on that like button down below. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are officially announced and confirmed, coming out globally on November 17th this fall. We just watched it on our live stream. Over 7,000 people watched it live with me, and it was insane. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the next step in the Pokemon franchise, the main series games. A couple other things were announced as well. Generation 2 on the Virtual Console and Pokken Tournament going to the Nintendo Switch, but I'm gonna be focusing primarily on Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which is what I am most excited about. Now, I know a lot of you guys were hoping and hyped for Diamond and Pearl remakes, and for those who are disappointed about this, I say don't be too disappointed. Be cautiously optimistic that Diamond and Pearl will be available in the future. I don't think that this means that there won't be Diamond and Pearl remakes. I think this just makes sense for them to kind of capitalize on Sun and Moon again and Diamond and Pearl remakes down the road. So don't be too upset about that. Just be excited that we are getting a brand new game this fall, Pokemon Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun. Very exciting stuff, guys. Let's talk a little bit about what went down in the trailer and what we saw. It was a very limited trailer, and there's likely to be some more information coming out pretty soon with E3. They might do some sort of little play. They might play a little bit, but as we saw last summer, they consistently updated Pokemon announcements throughout the summer. They would come out with new announcements with new Pokemon and stuff like that, and we have reason to believe that there's brand new Pokemon in this game, potentially new forms. We saw some different Alola forms, obviously, in Sun and Moon. There could be new forms. It's an updated storyline, potentially factoring in gyms and all sorts of cool stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what we can potentially expect to see. First things first, you can see right off the bat here that it is more luscious. There's more flowers and everything like that. The trainer, the protagonist, does look a little bit different clothing style, but it is taking place in the Alola region. I'm sure it's gonna be, my theory is it's gonna be taking place down the road, and this is something we talked about a little bit on our live stream. If you remember when you played through Sun and Moon, the Pokemon League was being developed as you played through Sun and Moon. I have a lot of reason to believe that, let's say this takes place 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future, maybe even only a few years in the future. It's very possible that we get a gym system instead of the trial system. They added the Pokemon League. Very possible we get a gym system, guys. And in fact, I think that that could be a thing that they do. I think that would be really cool for them to integrate gyms again into the Pokemon series. A lot of people like the gyms. Trials was a cool little difference for Alola, but it's very possible they try to mainstream it because the trials are more focused for the Island Challenge, but they might try to mainstream it like the other regions, like Kanto and Johto and Kalos, and add a gym system into the Alola region. Very likely. I think it's very possible. There's a couple open plots of land, so a lot of reason for us to believe that the gyms could be happening in Sun and Moon. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Let me know. Starter Pokemon, we know it's gonna be Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. We can kind of derive that from this trailer here. Seems very likely that there will be Litten, Rowlet, and Popplio. Saw a couple other cool images of, you know, different, like a Pikachu kind of paradise area, which was kind of interesting. But what team are you? Are you guys going Team Rowlet, Litten, or Popplio this time around? There may be some significant differences. You never know. Maybe they'll get Mega Evolutions. It seems unlikely. Seems like the Z moves will probably be the focal point again, but which we'll get to in a minute here. But you never know. There could be new Mega Evolutions. There could be all sorts of cool stuff. Really, the opportunities are kind of endless. They did mention new Pokemon, a new story, obviously taking place in the Alola region. We could be taking ourselves, I mean, there's so much, we're very surface level right now. We could potentially be going to another region in post-game. I had a really cool talk on stream today about a great theory that now that the Other Paradise is kind of disbanded in a way, with Lusamine being gone, Gladion says, hey, you know what, I'm going to turn the Other Paradise into the new Battle Frontier, or some sort of battle tower, or some sort of battle factory in a way. Obviously, Gladion has a drive to battle against opponents. Maybe he takes the Other Paradise and builds it into this giant battle paradise, which could be really, really cool. The Battle Paradise, I actually think that would sound really cool. They could do something like that. I could see the Pony Island getting developed further. There's so many potential opportunities there, but here's the big deal that we saw in the trailer. Solgaleo very clearly fused with Necrozma, and Necrozma, of course, the legendary at the end of the game, not an Ultra Beast. A lot of people think Necrozma is an Ultra Beast, but it is not an Ultra Beast. It is a legendary, similar to how, you know, obviously with your Mewtwo's and kind of your third legendaries that we have, your Rayquaza, things like that. Necrozma is definitely that legendary. Very clear that Necrozma is fused with Solgaleo here. No doubt in our minds. I think everyone can agree on that. So we have this new Solgaleo fused with Necrozma, potentially a new form. Maybe we're going to see the DNA splicers. This gives us a kind of a big refresh to Kyurem Black and Kyurem White with Reshiram and Zekrom. So we kind of see a really big, you know, the DNA splicers, blast from the past right there. It seems like it's coming into fruition here again. We see another Pokemon that gets cut up a lot DNA wise with Zygarde. Potentially Zygarde has some sort of importance in this story again, although it did have a relatively big significance. But we see these same concepts of these splicing of Pokemon, and here is very clearly Necrozma fused with Solgaleo, and we're gonna see Necrozma fused with Lunala as well. Lunala looks baller, by the way. I love that color on Lunala. I don't know if that's its radiant form or just a totally different coloring in general, but Necrozma, again, very clearly fused. It looks kind of ugly, let's be real, but very clearly fused with Necrozma here as well. So some pretty interesting stuff, guys, and a lot of potential for what could happen here in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Pretty interesting name choice there. I wasn't necessarily expecting that. A lot of people were thinking Stars. And this is a 3DS game. I want to make that clear. This is not a game for the Switch. There was a lot of speculation about that, Switch versus 3DS. This will stay on the 3DS. I'm expecting the next game after this to probably move to the Switch, but this one will be staying on the 3DS, which is pretty sweet. I know a lot of people wanted it to be on the 3DS. They just announced that they're releasing a 2DS coming out, a new version of that pretty soon. So it does make sense for it to be on the 3DS again. Not too surprised there. But man, I am very excited, guys. The hype train begins right now. I'm sure we're gonna get plenty of updates throughout this summer of different Pokemon. I'm hoping that they do a couple things though. I'm really hoping new Mega Evolutions. I'm a big Mega fan. I hope they integrate them into the story and it's not shoved to the post game. Not really sure. Here we see the Mega Bracelet, or I'm sorry, the Z Bracelet. Looks a little bit different. Potentially some new Z Crystals. We might get some new Z Crystals specific to different Pokemon. I think it makes sense for them to add new Z Crystals. It'd be weird if they didn't, in my opinion, because Z moves are such an important part of Pokemon Sun and Moon. So we might see some new Z Crystals. I'm hoping there's new Mega Evolutions. Not gonna, you know, hold my breath on that one. Again, the gym system. I think potential gym system coming into play could be really, really clutch. I really like the Ether Foundation or Ether Paradise turning into the Battle Paradise. Really love that idea. I think that would be really cool. But we know it's a new story. We know there's gonna be new Pokemon, at the very least new forms. Necrozma seems to have a very important role. We're gonna be interested to see whether the Ultra Beasts have an important role here, guys. Will the Ultra Beasts be important in this game, or will they be kind of shoved to the side? I don't know. We did solve a lot of the Ultra Beast problems in Sun and Moon. This is very clearly some sort of next game, hopefully taking place a little bit in the future. Man, a lot of questions to be answered still, but a lot of hype to be had now, guys. I am very excited. And like I mentioned, a couple other quick announcements. Pokken Tournament DX going to be coming out on the Nintendo Switch. They added a couple new characters there. They added, you know, Decidueye, which is kind of cool. Funny that they don't include the Fighting Cat, you know, Incineroar, which I thought was interesting, but they had Decidueye there, which was pretty sweet. And I think a lot of people are excited for Gen 2 Virtual Console, where Gold and Silver is going to be released on the Virtual Console, just like they did with Red, Blue, and Yellow. So that'll be really cool, an opportunity to go to Gen 2 and play through that. I thought that was a really cool idea. Surprised it took them so long to do that, but very excited nevertheless. So lots of good news today, guys. Again, I know a lot of people were hyped about Diamond Pearl. What I say to that is don't be too worried. There's a very, very good potential that Diamond Pearl remakes will still happen in the future. You know what I mean? Like, they've done remakes of the previous 3 gens. It makes sense for them to do Diamond Pearl remakes. You know what I mean? But I'm excited for a brand new adventure. I'm okay with going back to Alola, you know, getting some more life back in this game. I think that if they do it the right way, this game is going to be fantastic. Sun and Moon's a great game. A lot of cutscenes dragged on a little bit, but I have confidence in Pokemon and Game Freak that they're going to make an awesome game here. And it's going to be interesting to see how Necrozma ties into the storyline with Solgaleo and Lunala. And we'll see what updates happen. Will they do all those updates like we mentioned? Will they do the gyms? Will they do, you know, who knows? What's the evil team going to be? Is Team Skull coming back? Are we going to see Team Rocket? Are we going to see a totally different evil team? There's got to be an evil team, right? You would imagine. Maybe Ether Paradise or Ether Foundation comes back in a different way. I doubt that. But I guess the possibilities are crazy right now. I feel like Team Skull was so, like, loved that it would make sense for them to keep Team Skull in the game. But at the same time, I honestly don't know. Like, I don't even know. But these are the cool images right here. The Solgaleo and the new Lunala fused with Necrozma, man. I don't know, guys. It's looking like it's going to be pretty epic, though. I'm very excited for this new game, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. Are you excited, disappointed, kind of in the middle? I mean, we knew a new game was coming out, or at least we pretty much felt that. November 17th, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and you're excited, and subscribe if you're new, guys. I post Pokemon content pretty much every single day. That is gonna be that for me, guys. Get hyped for the rest of this. We'll have more coverage soon as we get more info. My name is Dan. I'll also go by aDrive, and I'm gonna catch you guys next time. Peace.